they missed him.
Oh
right?
yeah,
they missed him. So
did.
I seen a couple of things that I didn't like, and I done complained about this thing for 3 years, probably 2 years about Kansas City and Pat Mahomes being so pass happy. Like you would think, oh man, we don't have Kelsey. How we're going to tweak our game? You would think, let's see if we can push the pile and run it down their throats with our running backs. You know, we got 3 of them.
With you, dog.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right? But I'm like if you got a runner like King Henry,
yeah,
obviously that's the strength of their team, right?
Yeah,
you wouldn't run it with him as much as Pat Mahomes throw it, right? Like you got to have some balance. You got to throw the ball too, right? And I think that's what they're doing. They got the quarterback version of King Henry. He's so good with his arm that they want to display it as much as possible. And I'm like, man, dude, run the freaking football, man.
Hey, man, I said the same thing the other day, bro, because the first thing I said 2 days before he gets it, before the game happens, he gets the injury. So obviously your install of that game plan is already installed. So when it happens that moment, you know, the first thing I was thinking, I'm like, all right, so you without your number one receiving option, you got to get balanced. And they failed at trying to attempt to run the ball, but as a Chief fan, man, that's being Andy Reid. So I was hoping that he would do it. He refuses to do it.
Refuses, man.
He absolutely refuses to do it. But at the same time, there was a couple of runs with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I don't know if you guys seen all 22 on Twitter. Dude had a hole about the size of a Mack truck, and he decides to run in the back of his offensive line. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire didn't give a lot of faith to.
I think so. It was some runs that he did that I was like, man, they needed that, and the reason why I felt like that is because I felt like they was trying to do too much speed stuff, and they wanted to be outside. They wanted to get to the edge. They doing all types of jet sweeps and reverses, and everything was about trying to utilize that speed. And I think when Carlos Edwards-Helaire got in the game, not Carlos, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire. When he got in the game, I think he was trying to restore some toughness and be like, man, I'm gonna run and I'm gonna hit somebody.
Yeah,
it was almost like he was making it his business to make sure he put his head down and hit somebody because we need that attitude. Nobody was trying to be cute, man. Everybody was trying to get to the outside.
Offensive line. That's the problem.
hey, but a couple of other times he he put his head down though. So I mean, I think that's what he was doing. What did you see, Chris?
For Kansas City side?
Yeah, sure. Kansas City. I mean, I want to milk this Kansas City thing real good before we get to the winner.
I saw a lot. Travis Kelce being absent did more damage to the offense than I thought it would. I thought, that the lack of a run game would be exposed, but I figured because Patrick Mahomes is just this all-world talent, like they're putting him on the level of Tom Brady. What Tom Brady did with all those no-name receivers that he had, Patrick Mahomes would do the same thing. And the disparity in the wide receiver room in Kansas City was on full display last night. When you don't have Travis Kelce, defenses can game plan to just play regular old defense because Patrick Mahomes doesn't have that chemistry with those other receivers. What Travis Kelce does for Kansas City offense is allows other receivers to end up being open because you're going to send 2 to Kelce. So somebody's going to be open. And that's where these other receivers start looking good in that Kansas City offense. But with no Kelce, you don't have to send 2. I'm not sending 2 to Noah Gray or what's the other one, Blake Bell or whatever the other tight end is. I'm not sending 2 to those guys. So now I can pin our ears back. We can play man up. We can do whatever. And we're going to make you like showcase these receivers. And in the bright lights, Kadarius Toney,
oh my God,
failed tremendously. There was a lot of crucial plays that Toney had his hands on. And
that's the dude. Jay told me that, hey, watch out for Toney. Jay Anslow said that, watch out for Toney, man. They better be glad they ain't clipped that and play and play them receivers.
You ain't never heard me say that.
And I feel like Tony looked good in that offense with Kansas City last year just because Kelsey was there. You have to send to the Kelsey, so somebody's gonna be open, somebody can look good. But now that pressure was on him, he probably felt like the number one that night. Or they told him that he was gonna be the number one.
Did y'all see a difference in play calling with EB not being there? Eric Bieniemy, for those who don't know.
I'll say this. It's no secret Eric Bieniemy or Matt Nagy, whoever it is that's offensive coordinator, they help with the install. But they're not necessarily going to be in charge of the play calling. That's still Andy. The problem is that Andy, like we just said a minute ago, got too pass happy, and without your number one receiving option, just didn't make no sense. You got the best interior line probably in the whole league between Joe Thuney all the way to Creed Humphrey to Trey Smith, and you decided not to run the ball as much as you could. It's always a problem when Patrick Mahomes is your leading rusher. All right, let's just call it a spade.
Man, leading rusher with 45 yards. I think he ran 6 times. His running backs only ran 8 times and 7 times. I think Pacheco might have been 8 and
Clyde was like 6 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think it was Clyde. The other one, it was the other one. McKinney had 7.
Let me pull it up, but
I think that's what it was.
But I mean, overall, okay, so yeah, Isaiah had 8, Clyde had 6, and then you had
Clyde.
Yeah, then you had Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, and Rashee Rice, who are all wide receivers getting the carry on some jet sheet bullshit.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
The play calling, look, I call a spade a spade. The play calling from Andy Reid was trash. It was dookie. I didn't like. I've been saying this for years, the last 2 or 3 years. That play call where they're short yardage, like 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, and he decides to have a jumbo set, and he'll bring Blake Bell in motion, and he'll sneak under the center and try to do a quick little sneak joint. It's failed every time. And I've been screaming to the mountains, like, get rid of that damn play. Get it out of your playbook. It doesn't work. So the play calling didn't help. Obviously, we could talk about the drop footballs. I think, to my recollection, I might have counted 7 or 8 drop passes.
Well, so the first one, because Tony had 3 of them at least.
Oh, yeah.
At least 3 of them. Right?
I think the official stat was 4. I think he had 4 total drops.
4. So I'm a kind of I'm not going to excuse him, but I am going to explain one of them, not the pick. The first one was the one that bounced over the hands.
You can't explain that shit.
That's on him, right? That's on him. The second one, he went on a crossing route, and the other receiver from the other side came on the crossing route, and they crossed at the exact time that Mahomes threw the ball. So the receiver in front of Tony took his line of vision away from the ball, and then when he finally moved away, by the time the ball got there, it was at his knees. So Mahomes threw that one kind of bad. Plus, he threw it at a time where he couldn't even see it. It just snuck up. If it sneak up on you, that's your job as a receiver. You should be able to get that right. I'm pretty sure you go through drills on stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But by the time he seen the ball, it wasn't here. It was at his knees.
That's
so I'm gonna put that one on Mahomes, right? And not even put it on Mahomes. I'm gonna say it was just a mistake that they crossed at the same time, right? So I ain't gonna put that one on him.
Yeah.
The one he dropped in the crunch time where he had the one who dropped one that had to jump and go get it that was a little bit too high.
I think that was Sky Moore, but there was a one that Kadarius Toney had at like the 2:30 mark, right before the 2-minute warning. And he had a linebacker on him, and he went straight down the seam and hit him right in the hands. And had he caught that, he might have scored. And literally, he had a linebacker trailing on him. Because I just watched the play again. I'm like, yo, this dude right here is killing me. And Mike Tirico, oh my gosh, he dropped it again. So it's like you can hear Mike Tirico in his voice, saying, like, damn. So, but regardless of the drop passes. Look, we can harp on that all day about Kadarius Toney. This is where I think Travis Kelce was missed. And to be honest, because like you tapped in with me last night on the late night show, I felt Chris Jones' absence was probably a little bit more significant. They were both truly missed. Let's just call a spade a spade. They were both truly missed. All right.
Right.
But you can see the frustration in Patrick's face where he's like, I'm waiting for somebody to get open, and his timing with his receivers weren't great. He did have some bad placement on some football, so I'm not going to absolve him of anything at all. So there was some passes that he could have thrown better, could have got better separation from his wide receivers. But you can see the frustration in his face when he's like, damn, man, I wish my guy was out here. He makes something happen for me. So that's where he was definitely missed. But flip it to the Chris Jones side. And I know everybody's been on social media. Oh, they only gave up 14 points. Okay. And I'm glad. I thought the defense played well. But I think that 14 points that they only gave up was a little bit misleading. And this factor is because you saw where the pressure was coming at Jared Goff. It was coming from the outside. And Jared Goff, all he did was just step up in the pocket and was able to deliver the football. Guess who occupies the middle? Chris Jones. There was zero pressure up the middle. And guess where they ran the ball? In the middle. Guess who occupies the middle? That's Chris Jones' area. So I know they only gave up 14 points. We're like, oh, fantastic. Hold on. Really look at the situation. If Chris Jones is there, it might have turned a little.
That would make a difference, but it's two ends of that coin. One, Detroit also didn't have Jamison Williams, who is a wonderful receiver. Period. Like just him as a receiver is already dope, but the fact that he got that speed on top of it makes him it's double murder when you got him on one side and then Amon-Ra on the other one. So they missed that part, and then they handicapped Detroit a little bit with allowing that old lineman on the end to line up illegally pretty much for 4 quarters and jump early half of the game and get away with holds. So it was a lot there. I don't know if we really seen a real full strength Kansas City or Detroit team. Because I really do think Hutchinson should have left this game with 3 sacks. But
I probably could have had more.
Yeah. I mean, he was more, and y'all never doubled him. Y'all kept one guy over there the whole time.
He was getting cooked.
Well, I say this: they left them. They left the tackles on the island, but then they started to chip them in the second quarter or second half of the game. So at least Andy started to get at least a little bit smart with his play calling as in the start to chip them. But look, I'm with you. I was concerned about the tackle play because I know Donovan Smith has been in the league for a minute, but he was on the Super Bowl team in Tampa Bay and they cut him. There's a reason for that. And Jawan Taylor, look, I saw him do that same shit, being quick off the line when he was with Jacksonville last year. He did it against Joey Bosa in the playoff game. And then the next week he came to Kansas City and did the same thing against Frank Clark. So I wasn't shocked that was happening. I was shocked that it wasn't getting called. And hey, Chiefs fans be mad at me. Yeah, I don't care. I'm a Chiefs fan too, but we got to call a spade a spade. Homie he has the tendency to do it, and he's done it. And refs got to call it. We've seen Lane Johnson do it for the Eagles. I mean, we've seen other tackles do it too. It needs to get called on a more. It's almost like in the NBA where they stop calling carrying and traveling. It's simple things that are part of the game that they're not calling anymore, and it needs to get adjusted and it needs to get called. Period. I don't care if it's my team or not. It was literally him because first of all, he was damn near 2 yards off the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
They call him a slot receiver.
They call him a slot boy. They say he lined up like a slot. The
commentators was on him. The resident ref in the booth broke down the criteria for what a legal and illegal lineman is, and it was like every play, bro.
He lucky Tony had all those drops because he would be the conversation. If it wasn't for Kelsey being out and Tony with all those drops, Taylor would be the conversation this morning. He would be the scapegoat, man.
Oh yeah, and Donovan Smith had a crucial holding call late in the game where they had converted, I think, a 30-17 or something like that and he got called for holding, and they had to bring that play back.
But I seen that hold at least 3 times on Hutch. At least 3 times on Hutch, and they was not calling it in the first half. They finally gave him one. But anyway, man, we beating a dead horse, and we beating the horse that actually died on the field. I mean, we just go to the Lions and talk about the winners, man. The winners came in there, done their thing. Jared Goff came in there, didn't turn the ball over. Lions had one turnover. That was that fumble in the red zone.
Oh man, that hurt my heart, man.
They could have got a field goal out of that unless they went for it again. If they would have went for it on 4th down, because that was a 3rd down where and he was getting tackled short of the 1st down, and he coughed it up. But that would have been 3 points on the board, possibly 7 if they went for it on 4th down. But I was impressed, man. I was impressed, but I do want to. I can't wait to see the Lions full strength. I can't wait to see when Jameson comes back, man. Him, St. Brown. I did have a little bit of issue with Montgomery being the featured back and Gibbs coming in, and I'm like, every run Gibbs had, you almost thought he could have broke it. And I'm like, golly, this dude is good, man. And then he was running hard and strong and hitting people, bouncing off of him, wasn't going down easy. Man, now they got some in the backfield. But anyway, I'll let Chris tell me what he saw, man, from Detroit.
Man, I mean, I was saying it all night, all day today. These ain't the same old Lions. They came out there, they showed the revamped defense. I mean, that was the biggest concern from last year, was that defense. We had a top 5 offense last year. We only added to it. But the biggest thing was, how would the defense hold up against a high-powered octane offense in Kansas City? And I couldn't have been more proud of that defense last night. It was like the secondary, which was the biggest issue of the defense last year, where people were getting cooked over top, across the middle, we're giving up a lot of big plays. The secondary,
like Kansas City back in the day. Kansas City with Sorensen back there.
Yeah. So
that's the Saints' problem now.
Detroit's defense yesterday in that secondary stepped up and showed out to the point where Dan Campbell trusted his defense so much he went for it on 4th down to try to ice the game on Kansas City's 45.
No, that wasn't trust in the defense. That was fear.
No, that was trust in the defense.
No, that was fear of Mahomes.
That was fear. Yeah, of Mahomes. Yeah,
we have an all-pro punter who can put that ball anywhere he wants. So he could have put it inside the 10.
They had 2 3-and-outs or whatever, or 2 stalled drives, and they couldn't stand to do a 3rd one because it was like, man, we keep, how many times we go roll a 7 with these dice, man? Like, we keep giving Mahomes the ball and he ain't killed us yet. It's coming.
Yeah.
So he was like, man, we gotta get points on the board right now. That was fear. That wasn't because he was confident that he was gonna stop the Kansas City Chiefs from the 25-yard line if they didn't get it. That was like on the 25, bro. The 30.
No, it was just past midfield.
Because I think
right before the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, you're talking about that. I think Mel, you're talking about the fake punt.
Yeah, the one early.
No. I'm talking about
the one they scored off of.
Oh, no. That's Dan Campbell. That's not fear or nothing. Dan Campbell.
That's fear.
No, it's not.
That was fear.
No. You asked the Lions fan.
That's fear.
You asked the Lions fan to.
Bro, that's fear, man.
Who watched the Lions more, me or you?
That's fear.
Who watched the Lions more, me or you?
Hey, look. I'll mediate this one. What Mel is talking about with the fake punt, to me, that was more of Dan saying, "Hey, man, that's 2 drives that we went 3 and out. We got to get something going, and you got to steal a drive from Patrick." So that was more like, "Hey, I got to steal a drive," and it was a gutsy call. Luckily, it worked out because he was on his on 18 or something like that.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, okay,
yeah. So that was like, I got to do something to jumpstart my team because we can't keep going on these 3 and outs. But now what Chris is talking about late in the 4th quarter when they went for it on 4th down and they end up passing it, I like the aggressiveness of going for it on 4th. I didn't like the play call because I didn't
like the play call at all.
I didn't like the fact that Red Sea was parted for Jared Goff to run.
Oh,
and
thank
get
you.
30 yards.
Thank you.
And he threw a pass that I know it wasn't gonna get completed. I could tell by the way he threw it. The dude wasn't really open.
Man,
that dude threw it as hard as he could.
When they showed the above field replay, like the downfield, and I'm like, all you had to do was step up, bro. It was 2 yards, and you
could have walked. He could have walked to the first down.
You easily had 10.
Yeah.
But I'm like, just sometimes, and you see it with Jared Goff, not as much as it used to be, but when he gets in a zone, he kind of just focuses on that, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's what happened with that play, and I was like,
it's funny you say that, Chris, because there was a play where Amon-Ra literally went straight down the seam, and the Chiefs had a busted coverage, and I'm talking about Amon-Ra was wide open, wasn't nobody within 20 yards of him, and Jared was so focused on Reynolds coming underneath on the end route that he just totally just spaced out and didn't see him and didn't throw the ball.
There was a couple plays he missed.
He and the hooker won't miss him next season. It's cool. He won't miss him next season. By the time that machine is well oiled and ready to go, they'll have that quarterback of the future right there running it. You know, it'll be two Pro Bowl receivers on one end in their prime still. A running back that's probably a Pro Bowl still on his rookie contract, and a quarterback still on his rookie contract, and they all gonna be primed and ready to go. And all they got to do is get rid of Goff for another draft pick and keep it moving.
Hey, Jahmyr Gibbs is something silly, bro.
Yeah. Man, so to what you were saying, Mel, I think it might have just been a thing of formality. Starting David Montgomery, letting him get in the, you know what I'm saying, he's the vet, whatever. But I think Gibbs is going to be the back in the future, and I think last night accelerated the time that happens. I think it's going to happen sooner than later because we've seen just how explosive he was both in the running and the pass game. Like he caught he was coming across and caught a little sweep handoff from Jared Goff and cut around the corner, ran down the side, and he bounced off a tackle and hit him with some kind of like Kyrie half spin and had the defender, and he just skirted down the line. And then just the blazing speed. And you know, it's another thing about Gibbs that they didn't even line him up out wide last night. That's another weapon. They didn't even showcase that yet. Yeah. So until you get Jameson back, you still got that speed option with wide receiver hands that they can put out wide. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
but evidently they didn't need to do it against Kansas City. They were like, man, a quarter of the playbook will slide out there, man.
It was promising. There's still stuff, you know, that we need to work on. Obviously, we got Seattle coming into town, and that's cheap. You know that's gonna be. We'll see. We owe them one for sure. We definitely owe them one. But
it's definitely be cheap too.
I don't think it'll be as low scoring as it was this game. I think the offense will, you know, be in a better groove, and it'll just, you know, it'll be clicking, man.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, congratulations to the Lions. I mean, that's a big moment for that franchise. Why
are you congratulating them for a week 1 win?
No, I'm just saying they played the cleaner game. Nobody played a perfect game last night. I thought that, you know, was it a good game overall? Yeah. I'm
gonna ask you this: would you be congratulating the Chiefs if they won?
No, that's what we're supposed to do.
Anybody congratulate nobody for no week 1 win.
Yeah, but hold on, man. You got to understand, for a franchise of the Lions, where their history, if this wasn't this year, that game, it's probably getting out of hand if you're talking about the Lions from before. So you see the progression in a franchise, bro. You can see it.
The thing about it's not so much as a congratulations on the win. It's a congratulations because it's like they saw what happened last year. They saw how it finished, and it was more of like, is this real? Can it keep going?
Get that smirk on.
And for the Lions to be able to go in, you trusting them to go on prime time, opening night. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people thought it was going to be a dog walk.
Oh no!
Even Mel changed his pick. He didn't believe in the Lions.
I changed my pick, Lamar. It ain't that, man. I don't know what it was, man. I had Lions all week long. I said it 5 different times on 2 different podcasts.
And
I said it in group chats.
And
then when I went to your Pick'em League, Lamar, when I went to it and seen that Kansas City logo, something in my brain just automatically clicked. I don't know why I clicked Kansas City, man. It was just I don't know. It was red. I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. We're all mentally conditioned to see Lions and see losers and see bad.
He's not lying.
So
he's not lying.
So when you see them compete like they did last night, I mean,
it's a page turn.
Bruh, it's a page turn. Yeah. But let's buyers beware. All I'm saying is it's 1 week.
It's 1 week.
It's one week. True. And this 1 week doesn't change your history as a whole. This has to continue through December.
Yep. Yeah. 1 is a fluke, 2 is a streak. So I need to see consistency.
Oh yeah, once they get that statue up of Barry Sanders at the stadium,
then they gonna be all right.
Yeah, then they might break the curse, you know. Yeah. They still got to give Caldwell a job, and then after that,
right by them.
Yeah, they did right by Barry Sanders, got him back in there because Barry Sanders wanted to come out of retirement a couple of times, and the Lions was like, "Nope, we still got you on the contract, but well, you come back, you coming to Detroit." And Barry was like, "Nah, I'm good," because he wanted to come play with the Redskins when Deion came. Mm-hmm. And Detroit was like, "Nah, we got you for 2 more years on a contract, big dog. You come back, you playing for us.
You gonna be in that Honolulu."
Yeah. So Barry and Detroit was estranged, but you know their relationship. But you seen Barry in the building last night, so you know, so they and he getting they announced he getting a statue. So they do that. Now they got to give Caldwell a job. Maybe offensive coordinator, I don't know. And then after that,
Ben Johnson, they ain't getting rid of Ben Johnson.
Nah, Caldwell, he over there in Carolina, he'll be all right.
All right,
let's
move, man. Let's go.
The other curse that they actively are fixing is Calvin Johnson has been deeply, heavily involved with football operations over there.
Yeah, because he was estranged from that.
They did him dirty too, but he been in the building. He's been getting a lot of love. So.
Man, what's up with y'all getting mad when people want to retire early because they want to preserve their body? Y'all just get mad at them and shit.
I don't know. I think it's just because they was black. Because as soon as Matthew Stafford asked for a trade, they got him the fuck up out of there.
Sure.